Okay, so question number 4. Given one of the roots of the quadratic equation x squared plus px minus 18 equals 0 is 2. One of the root is 2. Whether they give you two values of the root or one value, what you can do with the one value or the two values, you just replace x, because root is the value of x. So you just replace here 2. So you say 2 squared plus p times 2 minus 18 equal to 0. You simplify this, you get 4 plus 2p minus 18 equal to 0. 2p, this 4 minus 18, you say negative 14 equal to 0. And solve this. 2p equals to 14. P is equal to 14 over 2, which is 7. Okay, question number 5. Show that the quadratic equation m minus 6 squared equals 12 minus 2m can be written as m squared minus 10m plus 24 equal to 0. This is similar to question number 3 actually. Okay, just like question number 3, I, J and K. So what you do, expand the bracket. So it will be m minus 6 and m minus 6. And then you bring everything to the one side. So plus 2m minus 12 equals to 0. And you expand the bracket. M times m, m squared. M times negative 6, negative 6m. Negative 6 times m is negative 6m. And negative 6 times negative 6 will be plus 36. Then you copy everything else. And you should simplify. So m squared. Then m will be negative 6m plus 2m. You calculate, you should get negative 10. And 36 minus 12, you should get 24. So, shown. And hence, solve the equation. Solve the equation means use calculator. A is 1 here. B is negative 10. C is 24. So the first value is 6. So even though the calculator give you values, value of as x, but this is algebra is m. So 6. Is there any second value? Yes. M is also equal to 4. The factorization will be m minus 6 and m minus 4. So m equals 6, m equals 4. So question number 6. Determine the coordinates of the minimum point from the graph of quadratic function fx equals x squared minus 6x plus 5. They want you to state what is the coordinate of the minimum. Why they say coordinate of the minimum? Because the graph will be something like this. Okay? How do I know the shape of the graph will be smile face? Is because the value of A is 1. Whenever the value of A is positive, the shape will always be smiley. Okay. So how to determine that? So what I can do here is that I will have to assume that the graph crosses the axis. Means there is roots, or there are roots for this equation. So for the roots, you have to understand x, I do not know, but I know y is 0. Similarly here, the x here and the y I know is 0. So what I'll do, for your info, that 0 is either you say is y or fx. Fx is 0. So you substitute 0 is x squared minus 6x plus 5. And then solve just like you did for other equation. That is, you press calculator, equal to 0 here, and a here is 1, b is negative 6, and c is 5. So the first value will be 5, the other value is 1. So you have here x minus 5, x minus 1. So the roots are 1 and 5. The coordinate, the coordinate still 1, 0 and 5, 0. Okay? Alright. And how do I will get to the minimum? This is the coordinate of the minimum. They want this coordinate. What is this coordinate? Okay? So what is this coordinate? This coordinate, if you draw the shape of the graph like this, the minimum point, the x, is the middle, just like question number 2, the middle between the roots. Okay? So it will divide this into 2 equal parts. So we can find x. How to find x, I repeat, is the midpoint between. So x is 1 plus 5 divided by 2 will be 1 plus 5 will be 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So the x will be 3. And when we're talking about coordinates, we need x and we need y. How to find y or how to find fx is to replace that x as 3. So we say f3. When x is 3, you just replace 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 5. So it will be 9 minus 18 plus 5 will be negative 9 plus 5 will be negative 4. So here will be negative 4. So the answer to this question is the coordinate of the minimum point is 3, negative 4. Okay, let me show you question number 7. Given x equals to 4 is the axis of symmetry of the graph of the quadratic function fx equals 7 plus 8x minus x squared. Determine the coordinate of the maximum point. So, why they ask you for the maximum point? Because the graph is like this. There is no minimum point, but there is a maximum point. And x equal to 4 is the axis of symmetry. So if this is axis of symmetry, this is x equals 4. So x for this coordinate or the maximum will be 4. What we do not know, we do not know the fx or the value of y. Okay, fx equals to y. Okay, so x is 4. Okay, because it is maximum. And how do we know it's maximum? Because the value of a is negative 1. It's not here. It's not because of the arrangement, but because of the coefficient of x squared. So a is negative 1. So the graph will be maximum point. So x will be 4 because of, they say x equals 4 is the value of the axis of symmetry. So how do we get this? Just replace x as 4. So f4 is 7 plus 8 times 4 minus 4 squared. It's better to put the value inside bracket, okay? Because sometimes the value of x is negative, and if you didn't write it properly, you might get it wrong, okay? Okay, so it will be, what is the value? 7 plus 8 times 4 minus bracket 4 square. Make sure it's in bracket, is 23. Okay, so equal to 23. So the coordinates will be 4, 23. Okay, is there any problem on this? Okay, let me brief you on question number 8. The diagram shows part of the graph of quadratic function f(x) equals negative x squared plus 6x minus 5. The straight line AB is parallel to the x-axis. Determine the coordinate of point A. Point A is here. Okay, so how do you are going to solve this? In order to get the coordinate of point A, you use assumption, or there is, you know something about the coordinate of A. That is, on the y-axis, the x is always 0. Okay? X is always 0. So you could replace x as 0. So 0 square will be 0 plus 6 times 0 will be 0. So what is left? Negative 5. So A will be 0, negative 5. Okay. In other words, this is actually the value of C. If you remember equation of straight line that you covered last year in Form 3, last chapter, y equals to mx plus c. So you will have to notice that y equal to mx plus c, c is the y-intercept. So in this context of quadratic equation, you look at the number without coefficient of x, that is in this case is negative 5. So negative 5 is the intersection of the graph with the y-axis. So again, A will be 0, negative 5. So because of the constant, x is constantly 0 on the y-axis. Okay, that is A. B, equation of the symmetry. Equation of the symmetry, so for B, is this line. Whenever we are talking about quadratic equation in terms of x, okay, because quadratic equation you can also express in terms of y, so the graph will be different. So in this case, the function is in terms of x, fx equal to, you have x here. The graph will be either this shape or smiley face. So the axis of symmetry for this case will be always x equals something. You have to find that something. So what you have to understand about this line of symmetry is that why is it called x equal to something? Because x is constant. On the line, x is a value that does not change. So how do we know that? How do we find that? In the context of maths, okay? Do not apply your knowledge of maths here, okay? So in order to do that, if you see graph here, it intersects the x-axis here and here. So you can label this as x and y. Okay? So how do we find x and y? X and y are the roots of the graph. Intersection of the graph with the x-axis are the same with what we call roots. So root of the graph, because intersection with the x-axis, the value of fx will be 0. So you can say here 0 equals to negative x squared plus 6x minus 5. Then most probably you could factorize it. Okay, it's not most probably. you could factorize it. Okay, because in the context of maths, they will give you only equation that you could find the root using factorization. So you press mode, and you have EQN, press 1. From there you press the right button in the middle there, and press 2 from the degree. And so in this case, A is -1, A is -1, B is 6, and C is -5. So the roots are 1 and 5. X will be 1, X will be 5. So it will be X minus 1 and X minus 5. So if here is 1 and 5, the coordinates, if you are interested to know the coordinate, it will be 1, 0 and 5, 0. And then for your info, to answer the question B is not related to the coordinate, but is related to the root. So again, in order to find the value of X here, it is always in the middle of the graph. Maybe this doesn't look similar to this length, but because of my drawing. But if you draw according to some scale and then you put all the coordinate like what you learned in Form 2, you will find the middle here will be this. This is the middle. When we say the middle, the length here will be equal to the length here. So in order to find the X, you have to find midpoint of these two roots. So midpoint will be 1 plus 5 divided by 2 will be 6 over 2, which is 3. So the equation here will be X equals 3. Okay, and let me repeat. The coordinate here will be 3, 0, and then maybe here will be 3, 1, maybe somewhere here is 3, 2, maybe somewhere here is, oh, I know, here will be 3, -5. Okay, what I want to show is that constantly the value of X here will be 3, but not Y. Y will be changing from one to another. Okay, if you have any question on whatever I'm explaining, do disturb me now. It's relevant. Okay, but if there is none, then I'll continue. And see the coordinate of point B. Okay, the coordinate of point B, what you have to understand about this is that it says the straight line AB is parallel to the x-axis. This line is parallel to this. Okay, AB is parallel to the x-axis. If you notice here, X is 1, 0, 3, 0, 5, 0. What you have to notice on the straight line is that the value of Y is constantly 0. On the x-axis, value of Y is constantly 0. So if you draw this again, you draw according to scale whatsoever. If you know already that 0, -5 here and 3, -5 here. So B, even though I do not know what is X, I do not know X, but I know Y is -5. Okay, on this line, the value of X or the value of Y or fx is constantly -5. So in order to answer this question C, what I'll do is that fx I will replace as -5. So -5 is equal to -x squared plus 6x minus 5. So because this is quadratic equation, in order to solve that, we will have to do make it into general form. Okay, general form, maybe I bring everything to the left side. I have here x squared minus 6x minus 5 plus 5 equal to 0. -5 is this side, this is -5, then -5 here, you bring to the other side, become plus 5. So what you have here is x squared minus 6x equals to 0. Do we need to use calculator to solve this equation? I do not think so. We just factorize like how we did in form 2. Take out x from here, take out 1x from there. You have x outside here, x, and then inside will be x minus 6 equals to 0. Then you solve one by one. So first x equal to 0. So x equal to 0, and then x minus 6 equal to 0. So x equals to 6. Okay, so x equal to 0 is actually the coordinate of x for A. So the coordinate of x for B will be 6. Use your logic. Okay, the lesser one will be on the left, the larger one will be, okay, so we say therefore B is 6 negative 5. And the last one, D, the maximum point. The coordinate of the maximum point P, in this case, since we already know the x for the coordinate, okay, so P, the x is also 3, because along the axis of symmetry, the value of x does not change. It only changes for fx or the value of y. Okay, so as you can expect, what I'll do, I just replace x here as 3 and try to find what is the fx. So f3 is equals to negative bracket 3 squared plus 6 times 3 minus 5. So here will be 3 squared will be 9, negative 3, and then negative, okay, 3 squared will be 9, then negative 9, plus 6 times 3, 18. So negative 9 plus 18 will be 9. 9 minus 5 will be 4. So therefore, P is 3, 4. Okay, in case that you have any problem, do let me know. The diagram shows the graph of the quadratic function fx equal ax squared plus 8x plus c. Calculate the value of each of the following. A is the value of c. C is here. So how to find c? C is the y-intercept. So sometimes there is no calculation that you can do in order to solve that. But just by looking at the diagram, C, or if you notice any algebra without x squared, without the it's not a coefficient of x squared, it's not coefficient of x, so it means it is the y-intercept. So this is y-intercept. So the graph is here and intersect the y-axis or the fx axis at 6. So C is 6. So for B, what's the question? Value of m. M is what? M is the value of x for the minimum point. Okay? M is also the value of the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry for this graph. Okay, so what is the property of M that you might have remembered already? It is the midpoint between two roots given here. So the length here and here are the same. So M could be calculated using midpoint between the two roots given here. So M is negative 1 plus negative 3 divided by 2. So negative 4 divided by 2 will be negative 2. So M will be negative 2. The next question is C. What is the value of A? Okay, so before you can answer that, since you know the value of c is 6, so you should replace fx equals to ax squared plus 8 times 8x plus 6. Okay, so how to calculate the value of a is you have to know that here you have the 6 here, and have you replaced any of the coordinate on the line here to inside the equation? Not yet. So you can pick either coordinate of -1 0 or -3 0 in the equation in order to calculate the value of a. So -3 is x, the fx is 0. Fx is 0, not x. X is -3. Fx is just like y. X and fx, or x and y. So you see, let's say I pick this coordinate. 0 equals to a times -3 squared plus 8 times -3 plus 6. So what you have to understand about this, you have to square first. -3 squared will be 9. So 9a. This is 8 times -3 will be -24 plus 6. 0 is here. And in case that you want to simplify, -24 plus 6 will be -18 equal to 0. And then 9a equals to 18, or you can also bring a 9a to the other side, so -9a equals to -18. Up to you, which both are correct. So -18 will be over -9, so a is 2. What happens if I replace x as -1 and fx as 0? Let's do it together. Okay, so 0 equals to a times -1 squared plus 8 times -1 plus 6. So -1 squared will be 1. So 0 equals to 1a. 8 times -1 will be -8 plus 6. So -8 plus 6 will be -2. And then I'll just move -2 here. I'll still get a equals to 2. Okay? And 9d, what is the value of n? N is the value of the minimum point. So to find the value of the minimum point, you just replace x, which we have found already. In case that you have not found it yet, find it. Okay, so sometimes they just ask you to find the minimum point. So first you have to find the value of x using midpoint, and then afterwards you replace x as -2. So before you can answer that, for question D, you have to replace fx, and you say, and replace a as 2. So we have a is 2, so 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. Actually, you replace it here, okay, or here, okay. So now you do not have any algebra that you do not know except x, because x is variable, it changes, it keep changing. So in this case, x is -2, so we say f -2 equals 2 squared plus 8 times -2 plus 6. So we have -2 squared will be 4, 4 times 2 will be 8, positive. And 8 times -2, or let me write down, 8 minus 16 plus 6. So 8 minus 16, it will be -8. -8 plus 6 will be -2. So -2, therefore n is -2. Okay, the other way is that you replace x as -2. Um, okay. Oh, you replace it. Yeah, this is how you replace it. Okay. So the coordinate of the minimum point will be -2, -2. Okay. Is there any further clarification that you need? Let me know. Okay. The diagram shows part of the graph of the quadratic function f(x) equals to a x minus h, x minus k, where h is smaller than k. Okay, h is smaller than k. Point P is the minimum point of the graph or the quadratic function. So A, calculate the value of H, K and A. So based on the, so what you have to understand here, inside the graph here, inside the bracket here, are the roots. So based on this, okay, based on the coordinate of 1 and 5, I could write fx is equal to A. I do not know the value of A, but based on the root is 1 and 5, you write x minus 1, x minus 5. Do you still remember? If you get the same thing, if you get the root from calculator, 1 and 5, so inside the bracket will be x minus 1, x minus 5. Okay, so then we compare to the given. So we say from there, h is equals to 1. Because negative h is equal to -1, so h equals to 1. That is for A1, for A2, k equals to 5. You can say negative k equals -5, so k equals 5. But then in order to know A, the third one, to find the value of A, you have to replace a coordinate that is on the curve but not the value of the roots, because we already have the roots here. So what you have to write is you have to use this coordinate. The coordinate is 0, 15. So 0 is x, fx is 15. Okay, so fx you replace with 15 equals to A, and then this one will be x replaced with 0, 0 minus 1 and 0 minus 5. Okay, and solve this. So in the bracket will be -1 and -5. So you could multiply -1 times -5 will be 5. So here it will be 5a, because multiply by a. In order to find a, I move that. So I get A is 3 because 15 divided by 5. Then determine if the equation of axis of symmetry. So B, how to find axis of symmetry? Axis of symmetry is also the x for the x for here, the coordinate here. Okay, the x is constant, right? Do you still remember? This constant, the x is all the time as. So when the x is at the x-axis, it is the middle between the two roots. The middle, the midpoint. So in order to know x for the coordinate of the minimum, find the middle of 1 and 5, the midpoint. So 1 plus 5 divided by 2, it will be 6 divided by 2 will be 3. So therefore coordinate of P will be 3 and something. We do not know that yet. So in order to know what is the y or the maximum or the minimum value, you should replace everything here. Okay, with everything mean A, H and K. Then you replace x as 3. So I will rewrite fx. So fx is equals to a is 3, then x minus 1, x minus 5. Then you can replace, you just want to replace fx as fx, also no problem. Okay, you want to write down as y, also no problem. Okay, so you just want me use to remain as fx, or want to change to y?
Fx.
Okay, fx. Okay, so 3, then replace x as 3. So 3 minus 1 and 3 minus 5. So 3, 2 and negative 2. So 3 times 2 times negative 2, it will be negative 12. So therefore, coordinate of P will be 3, negative 12. And state the coordinate. Oh, so actually for B, this is the answer. X equals 3. So you have to, therefore I will write x equals 3. And this is actually the answer for question C. P, the x is 3, then the y is negative 12. Is there anything you want me to clarify further? Okay, take note of that. Okay, question 11. The length of a rectangle is x plus 1 centimeter and its width is 5 centimeter less than its length. So let's draw a rectangle. Okay, so the length is x plus 1 centimeter. And its width is 5 centimeter less, so it means x plus 1 minus 5 centimeter. And we should simplify that, is x minus 4 centimeter. Okay? A, express the area in terms of x. So for area, because a rectangle will be length times width. Length is x plus 1, the width is x minus 4. So we say x plus 1, or area A is equals to x plus 1 times x minus 4. Maybe we just expand the bracket. So x times x, x squared, x times negative 4, negative 4x, x 1 times x will be 1x, then 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. We can simplify x squared minus 3x minus 4. That is the answer for A. It express the area of the rectangle in terms of x. And B, the area of the rectangle is 24 centimeters squared. Calculate the length and the width of the rectangle. The area is 24, so just replace A as 24. So we can say x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals 24. And how to solve quadratic equation? Make it into general form. So it becomes x squared minus 3x minus 4 minus 24 equals to 0. And you can simplify that to minus 28 equal to 0. Most probably you could factorize it. Then you can write what is the value of x. But in this case, you have to understand the value of x is not yet the answer to the question. Okay, so in this case, go to the function, quadratic function. So A is 1, B is negative 3, and C is negative 28. So the first value of x is 7, the other is negative 4. 7 and negative 4, but this one is rejected. Okay? because it's not possible that x will be, let's say x is -4, -4 will be -8. There is no such thing as length in negative territory. So x minus 7 here and x plus 4. Alright? So the value of x is acceptable value of x, it will be 7. So in order to know length, you just replace length is x plus 1 with 7 plus 1 will be 8 centimeter, and the width is x minus 4, that is 7 minus 4, which is 3 centimeter. So 8 times 3 will be 24. Area is given as 24. Okay, the last question for today. Number 12. Diagram 1 shows an isosceles triangle with a base of 4y centimeter and a height of y plus 5 centimeter. Diagram 2 shows a square with sides of y centimeter. The area of the triangle is more than the area of the square by 39 centimeter square. Calculate the difference in parameter between both shapes. Okay, so we have to work on the info given, that is the area of triangle is more than the area of the square by 39. So we have to calculate the area for triangle is 1/2 times base times height times 4y and times y plus 5. So if we simplify, you get 2y and y plus 5. Whether you expand or not, that is not important. And then area for this diagram will be, because this is a square, will be y times y, which is y squared. And given that the area of the triangle is more than the area of the square by 39, so we minus area of triangle minus area of square, that is 2y times y plus 5 minus y square equals to 39. From here, we can calculate the value of y. So we expand the bracket, 2y squared plus 10y minus y squared minus 39 equal to 0. And simplify that. Simplify. So I'll just write down here. So we have 2y squared minus 1y squared will be 1y squared, and plus 10y minus 39 equals to 0. Okay, I think you can still read that, right? So, okay, so then we try to find the value of y using factorization. So a would be 1, b is 10, c is negative 39. So the first value of y is 3, the other one is negative 13. Again, this is rejected. And so it should be y minus 3 and y plus 30. So in order to answer the question, calculate the difference in parameter. Alright, so we have to find the length and the width. Okay, we replace y as 3, so we get instead of 4y, we have 12 centimeter, and this height will be 3 plus 5 will be 8 centimeter. And for this one, it will be 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, 3 centimeter, and 3 centimeter. But for this, in order to calculate parameter, you need to calculate the length here and here. You already know that it's 12 here. So, in order to use Pythagoras theorem, you need to divide it into two parts, okay, which is angle is 90 degree here, and the 12 will be divided into two equal parts. It will be 6 centimeter, and here will be 8 centimeter, and you will get to know the hypotenuse. In order to calculate hypotenuse, it will be 8 square plus 6 square and square root. Okay, this is a Pythagoras theorem in coordinate form. So 8 square 64, 6 square will be 36. So 64 plus 36 will be 100. So the square root of 100 will be 10. Alright, so here will be 10 centimeter, 10 centimeter. So the parameter is 10 plus 10 plus 12 will be 32 centimeter. And the parameter for the second shape will be 3 times 4, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, or 3 times 4 will be 12 centimeter. So the difference is 32 minus 12, which is 20 centimeter.